a podcast about nothing.
I think about it all the time. I think about it more now being down here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I feel like people get really comfortable in their situation. It's like...
It's a city for you to be able to do so.
People get stuck in their comfort zone. Like...
How do you know it's their comfort zone?
Because they didn't leave. They didn't leave.
So you think any level you reach, there's always a level or there's always a time period until you become comfortable?
Say that again.
So like we discussed before we press record on this. So we wonder if people who have reached for the goal of just being music artists, let's take them for example. People who have gone out of their way to just reach popularity in their city.
Yes.
So you think they become comfortable?
Absolutely.
You think everybody should always reach higher?
It's not that we've had this conversation before. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's when you talk about reaching a higher level. I'm going to be the biggest in the world. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. Then absolutely. Most artists, most athletes, most individuals don't speak about I'm going to be number one in my city. Mm. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I will ask this question. Has anyone ever said, I just want to be number one in my city, and gone after that, achieved that goal, and was comfortable with that? Because even in achieving number one in your city, you have to obtain that number one spot, which means that you still have to work and be out there, and it's competition. There's always going to be someone that's younger than you,
coming out, hotter song.
Exactly. So we saw it a lot with, with our first company, the recording studio. We saw it a lot with artists who came to us who were at the top. And they achieved that goal within the city, and they stayed there. They never ventured outside of the city. And it was people who had the talent to do so, obviously, but it's not about that. Like, this industry,
do you think there's a spot for everybody to persevere past their comfort zone?
Absolutely. There's a spot, because there's only a certain amount of people who actually want that. Everybody doesn't want to be a chief.
No. That's what I'm saying. But do you think there's a spot past somebody, like you said, like people are in a city, they're content with being in their city, and do you think there's a spot for people who push past their comfort zones that don't necessarily want to be past what they're comfortable with? Like, is it one of those things where, people always say where you want to be, if you're stagnant, your mind stays there, you're going to stay there. So if my mind is stagnant, but I keep working for more, do you think I'll achieve more?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, what?
I don't think you'll appreciate it, but that's sweet.
I don't think you'll say you want more if you really don't want it. I don't think anyone who wants more than just being comfortable in their city, actually, people don't achieve what they don't want.
That's not true.
Why?
Because there's so many paths that life can take you on that you can achieve things that weren't set out to be your goal.
But I think that if you say...
You're saying in the sense of, like, if you speak it out loud, you believe that anybody can do what their minds put them to.
I think that you had to think it in order to get past, like, that initial thing. And then you say, okay, well, that's not what I was expecting.
Okay.
You get,
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I hope y'all understand. Like, basically, you're only going to go as far as you believe you can go, right? You work towards that thing, and then once you get there, you might say, yo, this is not what I expected it to be, and then you pull back and you get comfortable within.
I was about to say, I've heard plenty of people, I may be lying, maybe misconstrued, but I've heard plenty of people say like, "Oh, this is beyond my wildest dreams."
Absolutely. But they had to dream it to know that it was beyond their wildest dreams.
So you can achieve something bigger than what you thought for yourself. Goes back to my point.
No, but you always... Okay, so... Okay.
All right,
here we go. On... what was that thing today? I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it was an early episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Kris Jenner was like, it was this fashion icon, and she was like, I couldn't imagine, like, I fell in love with fashion at the age of 13 when I picked up my first fashion magazine, and I fell in love with this designer. I don't know what his name was, but she said, I couldn't have ever imagined that I would be sitting here with him. Mm-hmm. Right? But she did everything to get to that designer. Like,
she didn't do it intentionally. And I think that's what our difference is when we're speaking. Like, when I say people can obtain something that they didn't necessarily dream of, like, I always say this when it comes time for me motivating somebody to keep going. And I'm literally a walking witness for this. You can have something in your mind. You can walk a path, and you can keep walking the path and know what it's supposed to be. You may not know what to do. You may not know what the next step may be. But as long as you walk a path, just pick one. It can lead you to somewhere.
Yeah.
It can lead you. It may be the long route to where you're trying to go, but it can lead you. As long as you keep moving. I've realized that in the last couple of years of my life, really, as long as you keep moving, you'll be okay. It may be a slow process to where you want to go. If you have something in your mind or whatever the case may be, you will always get to where you want to go. And that goes to when you're referring like the designer, when it comes to Kris Jenner, I don't think she necessarily worked to work with the designer. She worked her children. You know what I'm saying? So you walk the path to be able to have these things line up. Do I think it was a goal? Not at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't think
work with that specific designer?
At all.
No, not with the specific designer, but to be more than what she actually was.
Yeah, but like, okay, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I feel like I'm almost crazy. When you do certain things, like, okay, like people, this whole manifesting is not new, but the whole concept and how people are bringing it about to me is new for me to hear about. Maybe I'm just not paying attention to it. But it's almost one of them things that you just keep telling yourself, I want $10,000 by the end of the year. I want $10,000 by the end of the year. I want $10,000 by the end of the year. You don't know how you're going to make it. You don't know where it's going to come from. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you're going to do. But you know in your mind, your affirmation is to yourself, I'm creating financial energy. I'm going to have $10,000 by December 31st. Mm-hmm. And it comes that way. That's how I feel like when it comes to people's goals. I want my kid to be like this. I want this person to be like this. I want myself to be like this. Whatever comes along with it. I don't think those were planned. You just take them as they go. So I don't think Kris Jenner, she's like never in my wildest dreams. I don't think she planned for it at all. It's one of the privileges. Maybe it might be something connected to the universe where, you know, life does come full circle. You get what I'm saying? Like, it does come full circle. You do notice the moments like, wow, like, damn, like this is not a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you do notice those things, but I don't think that was necessarily a goal for her.
Yeah. I also think, like, what you said about manifestation is like, okay, I want 10,000, I want 10,000. But you work. Like, you know you have that goal.
But you can kind of feel like you're working off path. That's how I feel. Because I've achieved a lot of goals by moving and feeling like I'm off path and literally receiving what I want from something falling out of the sky.
So, yeah, but
and I'm walking witness to
it's
that.
Never off path, though.
It's never off path, but when you feel like it's directly, like it's not directly derived from what you want to do, it does feel off track. You get what I'm saying? Like, one thing I can honestly say that I've learned from the people around me, from the motivating factors that I do have around me, was to not stop. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people around me, when you go to college and you go to high school and you have this dream of an industry you want to work in, something that you want to do, you stop until you find what you want.
Yeah.
I was blessed with the mindset not to stop, and what you want will come eventually. And I recognize the process is much slower for the people who stop to figure out what they want.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I've worked plenty of dead-end jobs, quit jobs, stop jobs, that not talk to people, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done so many things.
Not talk to people. I can relate.
I'm just saying, jobs, hey, don't take it personally. I done quit everybody.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to know.
I'm just saying, like, you know, like, I've done a lot of things to pretty much be on a straight and narrow path, but I've felt like I've done a lot of off-roading. But I recognize that I would have never been on the path or feeling the way I felt if I would have stopped.
Yeah.
At any point. And don't get me wrong, none of my jobs have made sense. None of the things that I've wanted to do have made sense in the way I've gone about them.
Yeah.
Ever. They just come about.
Yeah.
You can't stop moving. Like, you literally can't stop moving.
Yeah. I think also we have to recognize that even in taking jobs that you may not necessarily feel that it's on the path of achieving those goals, everything is in line with that.
I also don't believe in being miserable, though.
Time out. How, Sway?
You're gonna stop trying me, okay?
Oh, she's talking to the people.
To the people. No,
you don't believe in what?
I don't believe in being miserable.
I don't believe in that either. I believe that you have to change your environment sometimes. Okay, so anyway.
Tell the people. No, I'm saying that because I'm just thinking about my experience when I've tried to off path or just find a job because I wanted the job and stuff like that. Like, I've quit so many places, it's ridiculous. I've quit more places than I've had jobs.
What?
But it's a great thing because the jobs that I have loved me. They've wanted to promote me. Granted, I may have not taken them, but it's like.
But have you built relationships from those jobs, or that's the path?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They weren't anything that I was looking for. If you keep moving, they'll pop up.
You know, this was not the episode.
But this is also getting out of your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of things.
This was not the episode.
This was it.
When?
When we decided to sell.